Welcome to my Ancient Inheritance video, guys. Today we're going to be talking about how you guys should be tackling Ancient Inheritance and why it is so important to clear. Before we get started with this video though, I'd like to thank Smilegate, the developer of Epic 7, for sponsoring this video. To get started in Ancient Inheritance, guys, you guys are going to want to make sure you're in a guild. Highly recommend it, not just for Ancient Inheritance, but for the other stuff that you can do, like Guild Wars, World Boss, and all of the shops in the guild tab. And also because, like I said, Ancient Inheritance, so you access it through Battlefield in Ancient Inheritance here, and you're going to see that there are a lot of rewards you can get. So if you look at the exchange tab, for the currency you can farm here, you can get pieces of gear, right? Lifesteal set for this season, there's Mulgoras, there's these very prized modification gem selection chests, covenant bookmarks, a lot of artifact charms, and more. Also, you can get for the main reward from killing the bosses of each floor. There are 4 areas or floors in Ancient Inheritance. You get insane pieces of loot. You have the newly buffed Unity set. You also have more lifesteal set pieces, like this staff here is insane. 4 perfect subs for every single bruiser in the game, and it is on one of the best sets for bruisers in the game. So obviously you guys are definitely going to want to participate. There are a lot of rewards you can get from clearing those bosses from the shop, and even inside Ancient Inheritance there's going to be a lot of loot you can get from like treasure chests and from clearing bosses. This is definitely one of the best seasonal events in the game, no matter what stage you are at, and it is very important that you guys join a guild and participate. So yes, like I said, there's going to be 4 areas you can explore. My guild is currently on zone 2 out of the 4 zones, and by clearing the bosses, you'll see that, for instance, when we defeated the first floor boss, you'll be able to get the reward that is on the main page. So for this boss, it drops the Priest's Anklet, which is one of the Unity set pieces. You get a lot of EXP and other currencies, which we'll talk about in a bit. And you also get a greater modification gem selection chest. So much loot. Definitely want to actually, participate in this event. So obviously you can clear these rewards by clearing the final boss, which is what my guild just did, and you'll be able to also get other currencies. So talking about currencies quick, you're going to notice at the top right there are 2 currencies. One of them is what you spend in the shop, and one of them is your entry ticket or exploration provisions. These provisions are your energy in Ancient Inheritance and will recharge by at least 50 every single day. Now the amount you get every single day actually increases with your exploration level, which you get by clearing stuff and like enemies in the game and interacting with objects, which we'll also talk about later in this video. So first off, you're going to want to know that you have 6 units that you can start off with at the start of Ancient Inheritance, and you can enlist 2 more every exploration level you increase. So if I click enlist here, you'll be able to see that these are the units that I'm currently enlisting, and every single time you level, you'll be able to enlist 2 more heroes. If you guys just saw previously, I did level up, so I opened up 2 more slots, and you can basically, slot in whatever units, but it's very important that you have a strategy. Now, I highly recommend only using 2 classes of heroes. You're going to see I only have warriors and also soul weavers. I definitely recommend soul weavers. They are the best, especially for newer players, to support your team, heal them, and you also are going to be able to run another class with it, which I recommend to be a damage dealing class, right? So you have that healer, you also have that damage dealer, and I definitely recommend between warriors, rangers, mages, or thieves, because those are the highest damage dealing classes in the game. You obviously do not want to bring a knight to deal damage, because a lot of knights don't do that much damage. However, warriors are going to be the best choice of the 4 because of their self-sustain and their tankiness, and these units definitely have, a lot of debuffs and defense breaks that you can bring along, and you definitely want to bring defense breaks and debuffs to do a lot more damage to bosses, while also mitigating the damage from those bosses, because the bosses here do a lot of damage. I think the best warriors you can bring here are going to be units like Conquer Lilius or even Kitty Clarissa. They have a lot of dual attacks, they have a lot of support for your team, and just units that aren't very one-dimensional that can do a lot of things. For example, Lencia here, she can defense break, will also do damage. She can also strip or dispel buffs and also give your team defense buffs. You want units that can do a lot of things, more than just do damage, right? And warriors really fit that bill well, so warriors are probably the best class to have alongside your soul weavers. Now, the reason why you want to only bring 2 classes, guys, is because you can actually power up your classes. Now, every time you level up, you'll get something called these class enhancement ingredients. And what you're able to do with these class enhancement ingredients is use them to actually level up certain classes. So you'll see here, if I use 4 of these currencies to level up from 4 to 5, it will actually increase warriors' attack, defense, health, speed, and pretty much everything except dual attack chance, which makes them very strong, right? So you want to stack these into one class. The cost will go up every single time you level, so that's why I recommend only using soul weavers and whatever you have available. I personally recommend warriors, and a lot of people personally recommend warriors as well. Now keep in mind that units that you bring into Ancient Inheritance, guys, will not get the full benefit from your gear. So even if you have, not a lot of gear on your units, it is okay. Sets though will always transfer over. So if you have a speed set, the speed boost will transfer over. The HP set, it'll transfer over. Attack set, it will transfer over. So even if you have really crappy gear, just put it on your units that you're using in Ancient Inheritance, even if it's not enhanced, for full benefit. Artifacts will also bring their effect into Ancient Inheritance, so make sure that the units you use are equipped with artifacts as well. That's pretty much it for how you want to power up your units, guys. You just want to move around, interact with objects, or fight monsters or bosses to get experience and increase your exploration level. By doing that, you'll be able to enlist more units and also power up your classes. Now, if you look at the bottom here, there's going to be something called Relics. Relics are a buff that will benefit your entire team and your character. Now, you can see this relic that I have here is one of these starting relics. You're going to get a starting relic when you first enter Ancient Inheritance. I definitely recommend between Exploration Journal or Wanderer's Pipe if it's available to you. Increase EXP when using objects or increase EXP when moving around with Wanderer's Pipe. Very nice. It will make you level up a lot more faster than compared to the other choices you get. General relics will be able to come from chests, and they come in 5 grades. So you can see this starting relic is of the rare grade. General relics can come anywhere between normal, good, rare, heroic, or epic. And the way you actually get these relics are by opening these relic chests, as you see here on your screen. So for example, if I move over here, every time I move, you're going to see that I'm gaining experience to level up my exploration level. And by using this, I'll have to use 5 provisions, and I'll be able to actually get a random choice out of 3 of these relics. Now you're going to see there's 3 choices. I can get Ancient Shield, Wooden Doll, or Food Supply. These are really going to be up to you, but for the most part, the ones that increase your class level will be the best bet because they will help you in powering up your units and also in defeating bosses. However, since I'm not using any knights, this is really pointless to get. So for me, I'm actually going to get the extra exploration provisions. Basically, this is just giving me more experience in the long run because I don't really plan to battle with normal monsters. For the most part, guys, a lot of people don't really try to fight the normal monsters that much. The only ones that people will fight are going to be the ones behind the chests that we'll talk about in a bit. But for the most part, you're going to be fighting these wardens over here and unlocking the teleportation megalith behind the warden to be able to access the main boss. Now let's talk about all the interactable objects in Ancient Inheritance. This is probably the most confusing part. Which ones do you want to interact with and which ones do you want to avoid? And just what do they do in general? Because it doesn't really tell you unless you mouse over it and you view it and you actually read it, and it might get very confusing at times. So the first thing we're going to talk about is probably the easiest one to understand. It's going to be these guild treasure chests. These will appear on every single floor. Now, there's going to be treasure chests that are personal, as you can see here. Everyone can loot these as many times as you want. If someone in your guild walks by it and loots it, it's still available to you on your screen. It will appear as closed, so you can still loot it. These will give you 200 ancient dream shards, or I guess 150 depending on the floor. It will give you EXP, right? And also a random reward. It can be anywhere from like leaves to powder of knowledge, anything at all. It's very nice to loot because it's just giving you more stuff, right? We also have one locked behind some certain mini bosses, right? So if you defeat this mini boss, this will also give you a personal chest that you can loot as well, but it'll also give you a guild chest here. So this guild chest, the one that's shining, will be a shared reward. Only one person can loot it, but if they do loot it, it will give a reward to your entire guild. And you'll see that the rewards can range from a free connection summon, EXP for your guild, and also epic artifact charms as well. Usually, guilds will clear this after they defeat the last boss on the last floor, but these are very nice to loot later on because, as you can see, my guild has already cleared one. So just by being in this guild, I got a free Molagora. Wow, what a crazy reward, right? Definitely want to make sure you take advantage of this event because of these treasure chests. The rewards are insane. Now, as I also mentioned very recently, as with these relic chests, you can also open these for those choice of relics. Very important to also open because the relics can give you very nice effects, such as powering up the classes of your choice for like a level or 2. It will give you a lot more benefits, so it's very important that you actually farm these as well. Now, for these over here, this is going to be a Tome of Knowledge. Tome of Knowledge will give you EXP, a lot of EXP. You're going to see that it is 250, but it only has a number of limited uses. So you want to make sure, you don't get too greedy and loot every single one, but these will give you EXP, so it's very nice to have because of the fact that, it just will help you power up your exploration level as fast as you can. Now, we also have, right next to my character as we moved her, we have the Unknown Scroll. So this Unknown Scroll will be able to give you 3 random choices that will give you costs and rewards. Now, if we open this, you'll be able to see what it can do. By using some exploration provisions, we'll unlock basically a battle I can do here, right? I can do a battle for, Gift of Luck, a Gift of Tranquility or Gift of Bravery, right? Sometimes you can get Catalyst, sometimes you can get Artifact Charms, sometimes it'll make a random unit be fatigued for the day and stuff like that. Personally, for me, I don't think any of these are worth it, so I'm going to leave. You always have that choice, but sometimes these give you really, really good options as well. It's kind of like a gamble, so if you're up for gambling, very, very nice to do. We also have a rest area. So this rest area over here, if you actually enter, it will give you free provisions and free exploration XP. Keep in mind there's only 3 uses per guild, so you don't want to be too greedy with this, but you know, good way to get more provisions and more EXP. See a chest over here, I'm going to walk over and just loot it. You can see what you can get. Yeah, just more EXP gold, very, very nice rewards. Now you're also going to notice that behind every single warden, there is a teleportation megalith. If we look here, right behind the boss, I'd say, there's going to be this teleportation megalith. Now by defeating this warden and the other warden, this will activate and you can actually teleport to the main boss. Now very, very important that you actually clear all the bosses because you activate this, making it so that you can go around the map very quickly and also loot everything from, you know, other areas in that same zone. And also very important because yes, it will activate the megalith to actually enter the main boss area, which is up here for zone 2, and there's even more rewards on the way to the boss. So very important that you defeat these wardens to unlock these megaliths so you can actually, you know, tackle the main boss and get more rewards. There's also going to be something called these Ranger Sanctums, right? For this one is going to be for a certain class. You can use it to increase the level of that certain class. Now for me, I'm actually going to be near one. This is going to be the warrior one. You're going to see that this one has exceeded the usage that my guild can use for it. I believe it's 3 uses because, like I said, warriors are probably the best class in Ancient Inheritance, so this is a very, very hot one to take. So yeah, they can only be used a certain amount of times, so you definitely want to make sure, you know, if you do go past the warrior one or soldier one, if you are the main carrier in your guild, that you do definitely want to take this. Ancient Inheritance, guys, very, very important to tackle. Gives you so many good rewards. Like I said, you know, there is a limited time period to actually do this. You can see that there's only 11 days of this video's recording until it goes away. So definitely make sure you tackle this. There's a lot of rewards you can get and it will really help you out in progressing your account. Thank you for watching, guys, and thank you again to Smilegate for sponsoring this video.